We have a great comment here from Trey Phillip Jones. He says, I can hear Krown's crack pipe sizzling from here. That's exactly right, man. We're all having a nice little Tuesday morning, getting it started really early, really fast, and really well. And I see a lot of familiar faces in here, as always. Love to fucking see it, man. Mr. Quads, good morning to you, sir. Windows is not ready. Is Windows not ready? No, Windows was not ready. Yeah, you're right, actually, right before the stream. Very astute observation, actually. Yeah, man. My Windows outside, though, is just, well, it's as usual. It's overcast and rainy here. It's fucking amazing, man. Just fucking amazing. Well, it's hot as hell in all parts of Europe. Not here. It's still, I guess, fall. It's still basically fucking winter for most of you guys. Anyways, what's up, Darian Rambutan, Mr. Pow Pow, Anita Cho, Hoy, Mr. Van Doysen, Edgar Silva. Who else do we got? Quads. Love it, man. Fucking love it. Winston Wilf, Patrick Ocean, Aaron, and going viral. We need to go viral. That's what we're going to be talking about today. What are we talking about today? Well, usually on this channel, we talk about Bitcoin price action. And today, during the live streams, we like to talk about shitcoin price action, which I was going a little bit across my watch list here. And, well, shitcoin's doing what shitcoins typically do, just following Bitcoin, but overperforming to the downside and underperforming to the upside in general. In fact, I see Fart Boy has come all the way back down from 120 down to 108. Jesus, man. This thing moves. It's fun to watch, to be honest. Don't necessarily need to trade something like this, but it is fun to watch. You know, you have a nice clear trend here, but this thing has just such massive ranges. I can see why people like to trade this sort of thing. But yeah, man, you know, I was going over also my sort of alt allegory charts here as well. I'd really like to use this one, which is just the total market cap minus Bitcoin, minus stablecoins, and even Ethereum as well, though you could probably include it in the shitcoin list. And this one just continues down and to the right. I mean, this one literally just broke even more so on the monthly here. And I mean, for fuck's sake, even the quarterly actually closing on new lows for the past 4 years. Yeah, these are the lowest lows we've seen in the past 4 years. I mean, look, at some point this thing does rally and everyone's going to be calling alt season yet again. You know, maybe you get like a 10-20% rally here. Who knows what that means for altcoins? As usual, it probably means that, you know, a very select few get the majority of those gains and everyone else gets fuck all, because this ain't fucking communism, man. Not everyone gets a free run to the moon and beyond. In fact, there ain't even an alt season this season anyways. It's stonks season. It's Bitcoin stonks season. No, it's not even Bitcoin stonks, just crypto-related stonks. I mean, that seems to be very, very obvious to me at this point that in traditional markets is where your alt season is right now. That's where you can get in on all these Bitcoin treasury companies and shit that are just going to the moon and beyond just because they are in that sector. And it's the same goddamn thing I've been saying for so long. And it's actually really, really funny. Okay, I need to be careful with how much I say here because people be able to like easily figure out who the fuck I'm talking about. But there was a popular influencer recently who was like warning everyone about the about these crypto stocks that are going to the moon. And I'm like thinking in my head, like, yeah, dude. And also you've been promoting fucking shit coins for for eternity, basically. And you're telling people to be careful with the stocks. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ, man. Have you ever looked in the mirror or what? Absolutely crazy, man. Absolutely fucking crazy. Juice says, hi, friends. What's up, man? Good morning to you. Lev Ashton says, GM Krown, some lobes need to be checked today. Yes, indeed they do. Mine most so. Shell's Bell, morning neighbor. Good morning to you. James Cavill says, I'm straight except when I watch the Crypto Cave. That's right. We're all a little bit gay here and all definitely gay for TA. So you just have to be of that type. That is just who we are, guys. We can't control who we are. We can't control what feels good. So we might as well just live in nature, and we might as well just all be one with each other. We might as well just fuck each other as well. That's amazing. Wait, what? You said something about fucking each other? Well, I don't know anything about that, but look, that's just a logical conclusion for a community like this. We're all a little bit gay, okay? I'm the gayest. Anyways, looking at this chart again, it's like, is there going to be an alt season? I'm sure people will be calling alt season once you get that rally back to reconnect with these moving averages, but this is a down only chart. Holy shit. It's like my fucking brain explodes every time I go into social media. Hey, it's alt season. Hey, get ready. Alt season starting soon. Guys, you got to lock in right now. It's like the same fucking message for the past couple of years. No, moron. It's learn to fucking watch these things. Holy shit. Anyways, are you in the States already, Krown? No, I'm not, sir. I'm actually not in the States at all right now. That's why it's rainy and shitty outside, because that's just how it is here in very depressing, very boring, very bad, very low energy Europe. of which many of you guys are European. And I salute you. I respect you. But look, I'm not going to complete the rest of that sentence because it's gonna lead to some bad things for sure. Does Elsa love TA? She loves being gay, is what she loves. So kind of, I guess, just, by association. Crypto Al has some lols. Elsa is gay for TA. That's right. What is your TA on Bitcoin right now? It's going up or down?
It's going to the moon.
It's going to the moon? Holy shit, that sounds good. I should probably listen to you. This time is different. This time is very different. This time quite literally is different. No, it has actually been the same thing from cycle to cycle. People just... I think most people, myself included, came in during the 2016 to 2017 run, and it felt like literally every shitcoin was rallying. But that's just because those people didn't know about the prior cycle shitcoins, and all of the new shitcoins were the ICOs, and that was the sector that was going to the moon and beyond. Did that same sector have another run in 2021? Fuck no. In fact, most of those things, you don't even know about them. 2020 had its own little sector, which was DeFi going to the moon. Anything in DeFi went to the moon. Everything else was, maybe some of them went up a little bit, but certainly not those crazy gains that people are looking for. Then in 2021, you had NFTs going to the moon and beyond. That, it's the same fucking thing. Even DeFi during that run didn't do all that well. And yes, there were some other big winners. Absolutely, there always is going to be when you do have a market full of hundreds of thousands of absolute fucking garbage tokens. There's going to be some that are going to, that are going to perform well. There's always something, of course. But from there, what happened next in 2023? What rallied then? We had a little bit of AI. 2024 was the memes, and 2025 it has been the crypto related stonks, and that seems to be the real trend to me, is that there is always some sector that is in an alt season or performing in that way, but but it's not everything, man. It's definitely not everything, and that's for that is for certain. And again, like, my main thing with Bitcoin is find me an altcoin, find me anything that actually beats Bitcoin versus Bitcoin over 2 or more cycles. If you can do that, meaning that it actually makes higher highs versus its Bitcoin pairs and holds higher all-time lows versus the prior all-time high for the prior cycle, then hey, I think that you found the fucking, you found like the holy grail or like actual gold, I guess. I don't know. You found something that's super fucking valuable. But yeah, I still have actually not seen one. I'm sure that one like has to exist. Again, there's hundreds of thousands of shitcoins in this market. One of them has to exist. Like, it has to be. What's up, Mr. Alex Switch? Good morning to you, man. Always glad to see you, brother. Always fucking glad to see you. Alex Switch, another OG of OGs, and also his last name Switch, very similar to Elsa's favorite Game Boy. She plays that fucking Nintendo Switch every night, every day. In fact, she games more than me at this point, but she loves Mario Kart. She loves Mario Kart, and every once in a while, I'll suggest, okay, let's play a few rounds of Mario Kart. She gets the most happy I've ever seen anyone. It's absolutely insane. It is fun. It is fun. It is definitely a little bit of a fun time. Crypto Al says doesn't exist. I have not seen one as of yet, but I'm curious. If anyone knows one, I'm sure that person would be, shouting from the rooftops, because, well, that's what every shitcoiner, that's like every shitcoin's corner's dream. I own a blue chip altcoin. No, you don't. You own something that just doesn't go down as fast. That's all. Anyways, I will be happy if no pump until November, says Anita Cho. Fair enough. You got a lot more patience than I think most people, definitely myself as well. I mean, I don't think I think I'll just get quite bored with Bitcoin, to be honest, but it's not like I would stop anyways. But looking at Bitcoin versus the yen and Bitcoin versus the dollar, these are two very different charts right here. I just want to kind of point this out. Here's Bitcoin versus the dollar. This is just the index. This is kind of like your stock standard chart representing Bitcoin versus the dollar. But here's Bitcoin versus the Japanese yen. This is obviously a bullish chart. I mean, this is getting ready to maybe even break out this week, and in a very clear and obvious uptrend here. And in fact, Bitcoin, I mean, it still has its own uptrend, yes, but it's not in as strong of a position as we do see the yen, which is very interesting to me. Now, obviously, there are currency sort of woes going on in the background. This isn't necessarily like Bitcoin doing anything. It's the dollar versus the yen really doing something. So if we look at that pair, maybe we see something here, but yeah, of course. I mean, the yen is going down versus the dollar right now. So I guess that's why Bitcoin versus the yen would look a little bit better. But you know, depending upon which currency you are marking things off against, Bitcoin versus the yen has actually been a more consistently good chart to be reading. Like the signals from it have actually been more accurate, I would say, at least for, the past almost 10 years now. This chart has sometimes held secrets that you just don't see on the Bitcoin versus US dollar chart. And in this case, it's actually telling you two things. One is that Bitcoin is actually nowhere near its prior all-time high. I mean, nowhere near. It's further off from its all-time high. Again, comparing it to the Bitcoin versus dollar, which is effectively above those January highs at least. But going back to it here, if you're looking at the short term, yeah, there's very constructive behavior. It looks like it wants to pop up, and in this case, for the Bitcoin versus the yen chart, retest that all-time high, probably make slightly new highs. But what does that correlate to with Bitcoin versus the dollar? I guess we'll find out soon. I really don't know what to make of that, but this doesn't happen too often where you see them bifurcate, but in this case, we do see that actually happening. This, again, a much more obvious chart, at least as of right now. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing really retest that January high. If this thing retests January highs, then obviously the dollar pairing should make new all-time highs, I would imagine. I guess we'll see. I guess we shall see. But again, I think what everyone least wants to happen is probably the most likely thing to happen. And what is that? Nothing or very, very little. Bitcoin just continuing to be in this overall range. That is just the name of the game as usual. Anyways, I'll read through a few more of these comments and we'll go through a little bit more of a dedicated analysis. I doubt I'll actually chart it or record it today, but Thomas Kaldstrom has actually a pretty interesting question. He's looking at Bitcoin versus the euro. I just want to see this for my own knowledge. All right, post your message maybe. Elsa is obsessed with the word homo, not even in like a derogatory way or anything like that. She just loves the word. I don't know what the fuck's going on there. Anyways, Bitcoin versus the euro. Yeah, similar thing here. A different chart than the US dollar, obviously, being that the euro is stronger than the US dollar and has been massively outpacing it as of recent. But I'm not really getting, if I am looking at this chart is certainly not as strong as the yen chart and also the US dollar chart. But we have kind of the same thing going on here, I guess. You got this sort of falling channel that has been resolved to the upside, it has not been resolved to the upside just yet. But it's getting there, I guess. Something like this, perhaps. At some point, I guess it's a little more likely. But it can oscillate with it between these two boundaries for a while before it does get resolved. So I suppose we'll see. Anyways, going to the higher term timeframes for the euro, to me it just looks like one mega massive consolidation going, onwards and going here. If things do come back down, this thing back down to like 75 to 80, would make a lot of sense. And if it does break out, 115, I guess, would be kind of like the corollary high area of interest there. Crypto Clown World says Ethereum hit higher highs 2 cycles in a row. I'm not talking about that, sir. I'm not talking about making higher highs. I'm talking about the Bitcoin pairing. So if you compare Ethereum versus Bitcoin, this is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about your favorite shitcoin making new all-time highs and then higher lows. That's great. That at least says that it's not going to die, or at least it's not on the chopping block. But I'm talking about specifically relating it versus Bitcoin. And when you look at it versus Bitcoin, has there ever been first off, there's not even a higher high from cycle to cycle here, and there's certainly not a higher low. That's my point. If you were to use this as an example, your 2017 run right here, it made its all-time, obviously it just never even got above that all-time high ever again. But even from there, when it made its lows in the subsequent bear market versus Bitcoin, it actually has come back down to those lows after putting in a subsequent lower high. So this is an example of something that is just quite literally not what I'm talking about. This is a consolidation at best and a downtrend at worst. And I have no reason to believe that this is anything more than a downtrend, to be honest. Again, it could rally up a lot here, and people are going to fucking, throw eggs at me when it does happen, because at some point it very likely will happen. You'll get an explosive move. This thing could rally all the way up to, 4 million Satoshis, and it's still a fucking downtrend. That's the problem with how bad this chart is. It could easily do something like this, pop up here, set another lower high, and then continue on with a macro downtrend. And that's almost undoubtedly what I really do think is going to happen with something like this. Maybe it doesn't even get that high, to be honest with you. But yeah, should have found a low here. Probably does put in a big rally, and I'm sure everyone's gonna, not everyone, but the people who are in love with their favorite shitcoins are gonna get very, very mad at me and be like, haha, I fucking told you, man. But it's about the very long term here. like I said, I expect a move like this to happen at some point, probably the next big move, to be honest with you. But it has so much work to do to dig itself out of this absolute fucking dumpster fire of a hole. And this is Ethereum. This is thought of as like the second best, right? There is no second best. There is no second best. It just fucking goes down when you look at it versus Bitcoin. That is the main point that I really want to get across, because I've been learning a lot more in the past few years about financial literacy and just getting a financial education. Because you would think that, someone who went to university and studied economics and studied fucking business and all these sort of things would actually, understand these, through those studies. But I can tell you that my experience in university, and this might be much different than everyone else, but my experience in university was fucking, it was mostly a waste of time. Now, that was also due to my own disposition. I mostly just fucking partied and shit. But, but hey, that's what university is really for. Everything else you can learn on the fucking internet. Anyways, the point that I'm getting at here is that the true beauty of Bitcoin, at least from what I've come to learn and come to conclude after getting a bit of financial education, is that it's a very beautifully designed asset that makes a lot of sense, when you think about the way that our current system is set up. And I really want to start to do more content on these sort of things as I learn them. I've actually recorded a few now, because I think, once people get a bit of a financial education, they'll come to the same conclusion as myself, or at least understand the massive potential value of Bitcoin. It really is a beautifully constructed asset. And that's the way that our economy is set up. Our economy is set up. It's not rigged. It's not a scam. It's not anything like this. It's just hidden under thousands of paper of legal and tax code. And then you have fucking morons who think, oh my God, it's the lizards that are trying to take us over. It's like, no. It's there for anyone to read. You just don't fucking read it because you're lazy. No, you just didn't know. Like I didn't know. And that doesn't make you lazy. It just means you are uneducated. But now you actually have the tools to learn these sort of things. And the way that our system is set up in the Western world, especially in the US, and yes, most other Western countries are about the same as well, is that you're not supposed to hold fucking fiat currencies. Like you're not actually supposed to do that. This is why the system is set up in the way that it is. You're supposed to buy assets with your fiat currencies and only keep a very small amount in fiat currencies. And even then, you don't even need to fucking do that. You can just buy assets. Even if you're broke as fuck, you can just only buy assets and then take out asset-backed loans versus that as collateral and use that as your dollar liquidity for, your daily expense needs. That allows you to keep up with inflation, and in cases where you do have a stronger asset, you can actually beat inflation. Thus, you actually get real value. So that's where you get, your tech market. That's where you get Bitcoin. Bitcoin does a phenomenal job at that, or at least so far. At some point, it will fall off, obviously. But Bitcoin just makes a lot of sense in that regard, because usually people for an asset would have to buy like real estate or stocks or bonds or these sorts of things. And obviously, there are issues with those. One, liquidity for real estate. Two, for, stocks, like, you do have downside, risk, obviously. And also the transferability of these assets and everything. And I think these points more and more people know, but obviously, Bitcoin's very easy to transfer if you want to travel somewhere. It's easy to keep custodianship of where you don't necessarily need to trust a counterparty in order, and so you can reduce that risk. So these sort of things, a lot of those problems with your traditional assets have been solved. And that is why, in my opinion, Bitcoin just makes a lot of sense, to be honest. The more and more that I learned about this, the more and more that it actually does make sense. And once you start to learn how to actually use asset-backed loans, you start to realize, oh shit, this is the way that everything's set up. And guess what? When you take out an asset-backed loan, and you can actually get asset-backed loans with Bitcoin, by the way, now, you don't pay tax on that money. Money that you get from a loan is not earned income. It's not earned income. And by the way, these loans, the way that the tax code is set up, you can continually fucking roll them, only paying the interest and not the principal. And if you do want to get another loan for another full principal, then you can literally go ahead and get another loan, pay off your prior loan, and continue to do the same sort of structure where you pay off the current loan's interest and you get that dollar liquidity. It's fucking insane when you actually learn it. But this is why I think a lot of people just think that the system is rigged. They just don't know. They just don't fucking know. Like I didn't know. As well. But yeah. Anyways, I'll read some of these comments because I'm sure many people, probably some people agree with that. Probably some people really massively disagree with that. Maybe most people probably don't even give a fuck. Crypto Al says, who here has held these gems for past years all the way down? I mean, there's many such cases, man. I mean, that's usually how Bitcoin maxis are made, is that, well, you have bad firsthand experiences with most shitcoins. And if you have half of a brain, then you're like, oh shit, what I'm doing is not working. So I need to double down, buy more. Of course not. In a more serious tone. But yeah, I mean, that is why these crypto cults can be so damaging, is that, people get sucked up into these fucking, absolute shit coins that are just complete hype and marketing and just garbage. And, the creators of them don't give a fuck about them. I mean, they have no intention to even complete the job that they have set out to do. And it's really just a tool to enrich themselves, while they kind of somewhat promise, new things. And they can string along people for, a long time, of course, but, really only the most retarded of retards will stick around over one, more than one cycle. And I use that term retard lovingly and in the scientific sense, because you literally are held back in your understanding of how things work, and you are not able to learn based off of past experiences and instead repeat the same mistakes over and over again. That is the scientific definition of retarded. Anyways, they don't send me feedback about that. Elsa says, don't send Elsa like paragraphs long. Okay. We're not going to read the email. And honestly, like, just sir, the world is painful, and it's going to be a lot worse than that if you can't fucking handle that. All right, it's just a definition from the book, okay? Your interpretation of that, you can get mad, I guess. Anyways, yeah, building community, exactly, man. Community members. We have community members as well, but you don't have to hold a fucking coin all the way down 99%. So there is that. But yeah, man. Yeah, you can use something like Ledin, Hoy. You can use some like Ledin. I think Jack Maller's company, Strike, also has Bitcoin-backed loans, and there's another one. I think it's Unchained. But there's probably going to be many more. I mean, shit, man, you can do that same strategy with pretty much any. Okay, not any asset, but any asset in the stock market. Anyways, yes. Mickey says, no, you're 100% right. Most people have no idea we live in a debt-based economy. The more loans you take, the richer you are. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, man. Like, the richest people technically are in debt by like, I mean, billions, I guess. Like Elon Musk, his own fucking company, Elon Musk, his shareholders or something, like his board had to put a limit on how much he could borrow against his stock, his equity in his own company, because he's taking out so many loans for this purpose. I mean, that really is the game. And that is how old money stays old money. That's how they continue to just not have to actually sell their asset. They can just live off of their asset, because the asset probably is growing at least as much as the interest rate, and in many cases more, if it's a really, really good asset. So you actually end up making money, which is super crazy. So when you actually learn that, you start to understand how everything is set up, and how the rich got rich, how they stay rich, and how some of the newer rich don't do that. You really don't want to sell the asset. You're not supposed to be holding fiat, anything more than like what you need for your day-to-day expenses. You're supposed to be holding the assets. Like, that's the whole game. Buy the fucking assets. The fiat currencies, as everyone knows, and people say this next point as if it's like some big got you, but fiat currency, they can print as much of it as they want. Yeah, that's the truth. Like, this isn't a fucking hidden point. That's why you're supposed to go buy fucking assets. Again, it's so retarded. Like, the sort of ideas that people come around with these things, like they're really out to get you. It's like, Jesus Christ, no, man, just read it. It's there for anyone. It's literally there for anyone. The thing is that you used to have to pay a fucking tax lawyer or a tax professional untold amounts of money to actually access these people who had this information, if you didn't learn it already yourself or were taught it by your family. But nowadays, we have ChatGPT, so that makes things a lot more simple. If you just ask the damn question, I mean, it's amazing what you can learn through these AIs. But yeah, man, I have just literally been fucking ranting about very little here that probably people don't give a fuck about. Let's see. When does your next school start? I don't really have any plans to do crypto school with the banter guys anytime soon. We're gonna be focusing on a lot of other things, coming up here. And I've been working on my own things as well. Like, I liked what I did with them. Of course, I'm proud of what I did with them. But at the end of the day, I need to be able to do more, and that was good for a very specific type of person. That sort of like very, very beginner level type thing. But like, I don't want to be in the realm of motivation and, you know, and these sort of like beginner type of stuff. So it's not ideal for me. I want to focus on like more advanced concepts. I want to focus on things that I'm learning right now. And eventually I want to get into more like long-term investing content as well. Krown's ball says, I can't breathe. My balls are actually doing quite well right now. But yeah, they are suffocated by my cotton boxers, which you should be wearing cotton boxers. Otherwise you get plastic in your balls. Very bad, very, very bad. I was interested in your school too. I mean, yeah, man. You know, it is there. Like, if you do want to sign up and just go through the content, it is there for anyone who just goes through it. It's completely free to do, by the way, too. But I probably won't be doing the lives for that anytime soon. I really just want to have plans to do that. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I know they're always sending out emails of upcoming cohorts and shit like that, but they don't even ask me about these things. They just assume, man. So, yeah. Justin Meyer says, Krown, thank you for covering asset-backed loans. Mind blown. Yeah, man, it totally blew my mind as well. I am going to actually be releasing like a I don't know about very long video, but a longer video that goes over literally the step-by-step process of how you, well, one, understand these things, and then two, how you can actually do it. But yeah, super useful, man. And once you understand that, like, you realize you just need to buy fucking assets as much as you can. Take out loans against those. I know it sounds really crazy and really, really risky right at the outset, but look, if you hold your fiat currencies, they're at best going down in value about 2% per year, and that's compounding. So within like 5 years, your purchasing power is already down like a little bit more than 10%, I think, something like this. A little bit more than 10%. You know, so and that's in like the best case scenario. I mean, obviously your headline CPI, which, you know, they traditionally want around 2%, is not your real inflation rate. Your real inflation rate is probably much higher than that. I think you can go to sites and sources like trueflation.com. They give you a more accurate representation of, you know, what realistically what you're dealing with for inflation. The CPI itself is massively manipulated just because they choose the basket of goods to measure it against. So it's like, if we want to make it look a little bit lower, maybe we don't include this highly inflated asset over here, you know, something like that. But yeah. When alt season, boss, it's, if you weren't here earlier, then it's perhaps already here in the form of crypto stonks. And if you're waiting for alt season for crypto retard projects, then I think you might be waiting for a long time, because it ain't happening. At least not anytime soon. That really does seem to be the most consensus trade right now, and it has been for the past year. It's like, alt season soon. Alt season in the next 6 months. I don't know about that, man. Who the fuck buys RV and inflation? What's RV? Like an RV to live in? Do you mean? It used to be 2% until 2020. I don't want RV to be included in CPI. Yeah, I understand what you mean. Yeah. It used to be about 2% until about 2020, but then it went up to like 8 or 9% for CPI, which means your real inflation is probably like 20%. Do you understand like how fast your dollars lose value in that environment? It's, shit, you lose like half in a few years. It's fucking bad, man. It's really bad. Yes, please, for asset-backed loans. Yeah, man. Yes, Shells Bell. Yeah, it's going to be coming out relatively soon. I recorded a few pieces of content like that. I just want to fucking transfer the things that I've been learning about financial education in a newbie-friendly light, because I'm a fucking newbie as well, and I think it'll be hopefully a lot, very, very valuable for many people. But yeah. You've seen Tesla, Krown? It's falling fast. Sure. Don't really usually look at it, to be honest, but I can take a quick look over here. We'll get to the super chat soon, by the way. I didn't even really go over like a real Bitcoin analysis. Looks to be still in a range to me, man. Don't really see much going on here. Anything above 225 doesn't matter. Anything below 370 doesn't matter. It's just a range, my man. You've been on the internet for too long listening to nonsense about massive move soon. No, massive doom soon. You're going to both become a millionaire and lose $1 million all in the next 5 seconds. Yeah, that's YouTube, man. That's YouTube. All right, let's go through some of these. Wait, I thought this was an abundance stream. It could be. Open up your abundance, bro. All right, let's get through some of these super chats. Maybe we'll go a little bit over Bitcoin as well. But Steven Schickman, as always, number one. But he has a new request actually. First though, doggy versus Bitcoin. Doggy coin over here. I don't have too much of an update for this one that we haven't already said over the past almost a month now. You know, it came down to these April lows, which is what we were looking for. Is it actually going to break lower than these lows? I still think it's more likely to bounce on the first pass. Yes, it already has bounced from about 15 cents. So you got like a 20% bounce from low to high thus far. But I wouldn't necessarily. I don't think it's done just yet, to be honest, ma'am. I have a more difficult issue seeing this one make new lows from here than I do just carrying out more of a bounce. I'm not saying it's even gonna, bounce to new all-time highs or anything like that. No, I don't think so. But this thing could easily bounce up to like 21, 22 cents after kind of filling out this lower block for a while. Perhaps something like this, dances around here. I think it's a nice boom to the upside, and everyone's like, holy shit, it's bullish. It's bullish as fuck. And then what does it do? It turns back down from there. The most obvious area to get bullish on this thing is just these last few highs that you saw from May. It's about a quarter back above there. Okay, this thing actually does have a nice base in, and you're probably looking at 35, 40 cents, maybe just makes new all-time highs from there. I guess that would be possible, but yeah, pretty far away here. I still think it spends more time down on these lower blocks, to be honest, man. Tobo says, Steven is back. He says SoFi stock. Okay. I think it's some sort of crypto related stock. And as usual, crypto related stocks doing actually quite well here. This one making new highs for the year. In fact, for multiple years now, and looks pretty fucking good to me, man. Closing on not new all-time, but closing on new highs for the year above your prior major swing high here. That's going to be considered a good thing, obviously. So I'd generally be looking to the upside. I suppose from when I've charted this one, must be a long time ago, I put relevance on this $20-ish region right here. I think that you're very likely going to get there. Let's call it $21, somewhere between 21 to 22. But in this zone here is kind of where I'd be looking for some pushback, for this thing to turn back down around and try for another higher low. So overall, very nice, very, very good. Probably one of the better charts we'll see today. Almost even put in a bullish engulfing dildo on the quarterly time frame. But yeah, generally speaking, I think this one goes a little bit higher. Then it'll turn back down, find another higher low, and then try again. But yeah, this one's in breakout mode literally right now. It's good. Just let it run. Just let it do its thing. Tobo says, Tesla daily, weekly down target, please. Okay, so we're assuming now it's just going to continue down. So I'm gonna run with your assumption. I'm not necessarily of the same opinion of your assumption. Well, I don't really know just yet. Your first one is going to be basically last month's low. That's 280. Should be at least a short-term bounce attempt there. If you do fail there, then 233, 235 region is the next logical area. Should be a decent bounce there, regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish. Ultimately, I still look at anything as anything above, what was it, this past April's low as still a bullish bias, more long term, but it's just going to take its time, man. Like if this is a monthly look here, like if it does something like this, that could be half a year before we see this thing really try for like a real move. But the range seems quite obvious. April lows versus May highs. That's your range for a while on the monthly. Anything above that range, this thing's going to make new all-time highs. Anything below that range, going to be running back down. I mean, at that point, like 125, I guess. But yeah, give it some time, man. This one is, of course, a little bit more event-driven recently just because of Elon Musk's, the Musk man's dealings with Lord Emperor Trump. So yeah, Tron Jeremy says, GM Krown, yesterday you told us you are bullish based on trend. That is not an accurate representation of what I said. I talk about price and price probabilities, not about certainties. But yes, if I have to have a bias, it would be bullish just because of trend. Doesn't mean that that's always going to work out like that. And I could provide some serious reasons why it's probably not. But for now, the daily does remain an uptrend, but you go on to say, but isn't the daily in a downtrend? Not trying to be smart. Okay, just a little confused. I'm not sure how you see the daily in any way, shape, or form as a downtrend. Okay, let's go through the obvious things here. You have a low, you have a high. You have a lower low, you have a same high. Well, you have a lower high right here, followed by a higher low, and then you have something forming in this area right here. So as of right now, you do have about same low, same high, came back up to that prior one, it's an uptrend, man. Or at least it's closer to an uptrend than it is a downtrend at this moment. So yeah. I don't really see where you're getting a downtrend from. Maybe you're going off a CME, but CME, no, it's the same thing here, right? You got low, high, higher low, higher high. So that would be, again, an uptrend. Again, I'm not necessarily saying that this thing is destined to break out to the upside, but, you know, I'm always going to go on the same side of trend. That is going to fail at some point, obviously, but so far hasn't quite done it, man. I fail to see where your downtrend is right now. Let's see. Job says Krown's loan theory is exactly why the market crashed in 2008. That is a massive misunderstanding. You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. I'm sorry. You fucking idiot. Sorry. I didn't mean to say that, man. That is not it at all. In 2008, what crashed the market is people giving loans for buying homes where to people that could not afford these loans. When you have an asset-backed loan, you literally are having the fucking asset that provides the value for the loan, you fucking moron. Holy shit. Like, sorry. But it is true. I mean, you are 100% wrong about that. Yeah. Anyways, Crypto Shart says, come on, everybody, dip your wieners in the syrup daily, please. This one has been one of the better ones. So if there is going to be some, I should hold off on judgment until I see it first, because I forget. It was one of the better ones. Yeah, still definitely one of the better ones. That's for sure. It's a brand new shitcoin that was born when this market started to actually bottom out this year, or at least for this year thus far. So yeah, overall, do I think that it could come down a little bit more here? Yeah, I think that you could spend a little bit more time consolidating lower than where you're at right now, but this seems to be a nice consolidation range to me. You know, it's kind of like Bitcoin. It's like I have a bullish bias because you're in an uptrend, but do I think it's going to break out today from here? No, I don't think so. I think you're probably going to be at best doing something like this. You probably, retest somewhere around this just under 50 cent region right there. And can't really get excited as long as this thing's below, Sunday's high at 57.5 cents. Above there on a daily closing basis, the bull party continues. You're probably looking at 70, 75. Below 48 cents on a daily closing basis. Okay, this thing actually might be reversing, and you're probably looking at a move back down to about 41, 42 cents. But yeah, among the better charts. If Bitcoin does well here, this thing should do very, very well, I imagine. So yeah. All right, let's see what else we got. God, how can you fucking mix up asset-backed loans versus people taking out mortgages for shit that they literally cannot support? It's literally the opposite. Like, you actually have to have the fucking asset to get the loan. Like, oh my God. Oh my fucking God. All right. Anyways, move. I must have some sort of disease or something, because these things just really bother me. Like, really fucking bother me. I don't know why. It's obviously my own issue. Shouldn't be calling this person like an idiot or anything like that. Like, Jesus Christ. How fucking crazy am I? NASDAQ 420. Is this an actual thing? I'm going to see. It is an actual thing. I'm guessing this is like SPX 420 or whatever the fuck it is, 6900. Yeah, pretty fucking good there. Look, I don't trust this thing all that much. Of course, it's a meme coin, I'm guessing, and it is, well, hold on. Let's actually go versus I'm sure there's a US. Yeah, here's a US dollar parent. It's not as impressive, but still, having a pretty nice run here, of course. It seems to me that you're probably going to get somewhere into this vicinity here. I don't know what the hell these numbers are, like 7 to 8 tenths of a cent. It's still a pretty good move from where it's at right now. It's still another 50%. But do I think that this thing's going to like blast all-time highs and shit like that? No, I think stuff like this is probably seeing its day in the sun. This isn't a new shitcoin. It's been around for almost a year now, so it's not that new, I guess. It hasn't performed all that well with the rest of the market. So I look at this thing as, yeah, probably have some more, but I'd be looking for it to get stopped somewhere in this region here. If I'm going to go with shitcoins during this cycle, it's got to be something massively newer, like that syrup thing. Could be good. All right. What else we got? Crypto Clown World says, Krown, you got to be careful, man. You're going to upset the exchange staff. They're going to start selling again. That's right, man. It's really bad. Those exchange staff, when they know how to sell. Like, people don't even understand how the fucking market that they're trading works. They think the exchange staff is on the other side of your trade. Like, holy shit, fuck. oh my God, you literally don't even understand a market. How are you trade? How are you? That is genuinely concerning to me. It's like, do you think that the prices are just set like communism or something? Like, what the fuck? He didn't do one like 5 seconds of research to figure that one out. And of course, for something like this, that's highly volatile, you're probably gonna get some pullbacks along the way. But yeah, I do think that it does go higher from here, to be honest. David says Spotify performing better than cryptos. Check weekly. I mean, stocks in general have been doing pretty decent. So I guess not a humongously surprising thing, but yeah, definitely a lot better than, I mean, I think just about better than any shitcoin that's been around for more than 6 months, 2 years. So yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. Looking at this on the weekly, overall, you know, I don't think that this thing has seen the high just yet. Is it going to spend more time consolidating here? It actually looks like it might not. It's kind of crazy, man. This might be very aggressive, but I actually would treat this one as bullish right now, as long as you're above 702. It does have hidden bullish evidence on the daily time frame. As long as you're above there, I think that this thing might literally continue this week, which it sounds absolutely insane. I totally agree. But if it does come back down below about $700 and close the daily below there, okay, you got your first consolidation coming up, and this thing should play out a move back down to, I don't know, 650 or something. But overall, I really don't think that the highs are in here. So if it does pull back, I think it's just going to be a short-term pullback. And if anything, it's more likely to continue here than not, to be fair. So yeah. All right. David says, why does the caretaker's RSI / other indicators work well with stocks? I mean, caretaker's RSI, I mean, the RSI is going to work as an RSI does in any market. So yeah, absolutely. As far as the other offerings, I probably should have spoken about this earlier, because we actually do have a sale going on, which I've done a very terrible job of letting everyone know about. We do have a sale going on for, what's it called? 4th of July. Code is USA for 20% off of any one of the programs or services in the teachable link in the description below. I mean, as far as indicators go, Caretaker's Indicator Suite is actually the only, like, well, we also do have the VMP, but I don't really count that. Caretaker's Indicator Suite is, yeah, the only one, as well as the advanced stochastic, that we even sell as indicators anymore. So does it work in traditional markets? Absolutely. I mean, RSI does work. So does the stochastic oscillator work in traditional markets. I mean, indicators are going to do what indicators do. In fact, in traditional markets, you're going to have better success with something like the HPDR right here, because you have a lot more price action history typically for stocks, you know, that have been around for longer. So yeah, absolutely, it does work. And also what I've been kind of neglecting recently, which was the price action statistics indicator. And and then we also have price action pivots. Holy shit, how could I forget that one? That was like my newest favorite thing. And yeah, of course, that does work in traditional markets as well. It's just algorithmically defined support and resistance levels effectively. But yeah, you know, all of these things are going to work in traditional markets. It's going to work regardless of your market, probably better in traditional markets just because you have more price action information to draw from, which benefits especially that HPDR and the statistics reads for those two. So yeah. Anyways, Shell's Bell is looking at DFDV. I think keep the rain on your side. I'm guessing it's a lot nicer in Estonia right now. DFDV. I think you turned me on to this one. It is a DeFi Development Corporation. I think they do something with Solana DeFi or something like this. Full disclosure, I do have a position in this one, but you know, for right now, I like it. It's coming into its first consolidation after a pretty explosive move to the upside. It went from $10 all the way up to $54 almost, kind of crazy. And it's getting to first consolidation after that. I do look at this as a higher low from the last Friday's low. Was it last Friday? Friday the 27th low. And I look at this as a nice healthy consolidation as long as you are effectively riding these higher lows and hanging out between, let's call it $18 to the downside versus about 33 and about 33 to the upside. I don't think it's ready to break either which way anytime soon. I think, you know, you get something like this, a little bit of up, a little bit of down, wedges itself into this formation, and then it gets forced to choose a direction. But, you know, below about $18, okay, it's, you know, it's going to go much lower, probably back down to $10. If it does pop back up above 33 and close above there, then I think that this thing's ready for its next explosive move, you know, just generally continues with the trend. But yeah, I guess we'll see. And if you were the one that turned me onto that, I want to thank you for that. This is also one of the beautiful things about these streams. I learn a lot too about these things. I also learned about how the the 2008 stock market crash happened. It was from people taking out asset-backed loans. Wait, but when the loan got called, then what happened with the asset? Did they liquidate it? Oh, fuck yeah, they did. So they actually were able to pay it. That's crazy. Anyways, like extremely nerdy jokes from my side that only few people understand. Crypto Shark says, thoughts on Bonk Daily, please, for stream. Okay. All right. I think Bonk was actually moving recently. So let's see. At least that's what I saw on the Twitters. You can see how uninteresting it is compared to most other things, but I guess when it comes to shitcoins, it does better than most of them. Yeah, I mean, at least it's not fucking down only. This thing does have its rallies. Look, I'll tell you what I like about it. It does have a weekly high or low in place. It's already tested or basically at your prior weekly high. So this does have a bullish bias here because you are putting in higher lows. But is a consolidation ready to break? Well, I don't know. Let's see what our indicators say. Hold on. Go back to this. Boom. Okay. Weekly RSI is already making new highs. So you kind of actually do expect it to fall through here. And if it doesn't, then this thing is going to come back down, I don't know, halfway point from where it's at right now in its current low. But still, even if it does reject like something like this, that would still be okay. But the key ingredient here is, again, closing a weekly above those May highs. If you can do that, then this thing can go on a pretty nice run, probably find its way around here. But until you do that, at best, it's kind of doing one of these consolidations in the lower block. And if it does trade back down below this prior low here, I mean, that's the most obvious area to be getting very, very bearish on. But, give it a chance, I suppose. Yeah, the monthly honestly looks pretty decent to me. I think that this one actually does have a legitimate possibility to pop up and go for that run towards the upper red circle. Yeah. If it can trade above those May highs, you will trade above that last quarterly high. That's going to start to look pretty decent for a nice move to the upside. Like big move to the upside, that is. But still questionable as long as you're, again, below that May high, because this is kind of like the point of maximum likelihood of failure if it is going to fail. So yeah, kind of a difficult one there. That's why I'm glad I don't trade these shitcoins, man. For fuck's sake. Anyways, Joseph Dane says, whoa, can't wait for the full yes, yeah, man. There's also a lot better people than me to explain these things, but I just figured, like, since I'm learning about this and it's more fresh on my mind, and I'm also coming at it from the perspective of, a fucking newbie, maybe I can relate to people like me a little bit better. Because, despite having very good success trading the markets for a long time now, I missed out on a shit ton of gains, to be honest. And I missed out on a shit ton of gains because I didn't understand financial literacy. I didn't understand how the economic system worked. I thought, oh, you just make more money, all good, that's no problem. And then 2020 happened, and then I realized, oh shit, the money that I made is actually worth significantly less in such a short amount of time. This is really scary. And I would like to figure out a solution if I can. If Bitcoin pulls back, Bonk will follow. Well, that's a crazy assumption, but I might agree with you. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, I do definitely agree with you, but fair enough. Always Correct 100 says, please, Jasmy, brother, I am balls deep in it. Sir, I will give you an analysis on Jasmy by explaining to you how I actually even know the highly esteemed crypto asset token named Jasmy. The reason why I know about Jasmy is because every day for about 2 years, from 2019 to 2020, these fucking scam bots on my YouTube would always comment, wow, Jasmy looks great. I just made 1000x from Miss Cleo, who taught me how to trade. And sir, anytime I see anything like that, I am 100% fucking convinced that it is a scam. What sort of legitimate project has shit tons of scam bots that every day go through every fucking YouTube channel to shill their stuff? Because obviously it's a very good project. Why else would they do that? To me, that's an immediate red flag signal. Look, I'm going to assume that the chart is down only and has absolutely zero hope. But let's see. Maybe, sometimes it's not that case. Oh, what do you fucking... God damn it! Put it on log scale. It looks better, bro. Well, the trend can be your friend. If you're balls deep in a short, it is a very good friend. If you're balls deep in a long, well, your Jasmy, it hates you, man. I hate to break it to you, but this coin hates you. It's bad. It's really fucking bad. Like, really fucking bad. It's so bad, man. It's so bad. Like, I'm... Drop it. Drop the fucking nuke. Just take your money out, go to Vegas, and, I don't know, find a hooker named Jasmine or some shit, and it'll be better. Much better than this thing. At least when that goes down on you, you'll be happier. This is the best lesbian stream on the webs. That's right, man. I'm the king lesbian, and I will make the lesbianist decisions around here. Hey, Krown, what do you think about taking out loans in Aave? Okay, so when it comes to traditional market stuff, a lot of the infrastructure has been set up for a long time and is somewhat dependable. When it comes to Aave, I have not done the same research there, so I really don't know, but I think your biggest issue with Aave is that it implies that you're going to be taking out loans with random shit coins as your collateral. And I think the issue there and how you could run into a 2008 situation is that you're taking out loans using collateral of fucking vapor. And, typically altcoins are very high volatility and everything. So it's like, you think you have a good loan, but look, again, I've done very, very little research into that. In fact, pretty much zero. So maybe they have their own fail safes around that, but that would be my initial sort of impression, at least looking for a way, to kind of deal with that, because that would be an obvious issue to me. Maybe they have figured some out for that. Maybe they figured out, how to back them in like a perfect way. I don't know. I just haven't done the research, so I would not be the person to ask because I don't know. Mr. P says, good morning. What's up, man? If you didn't do it yet, could you check out XRP? I can. And this one was, I think it was rallying the other day. Yeah, a lot of people getting excited about a rally that ultimately leads towards nowhere. I just do not fucking understand it, man. I really don't. Like, I mean, at least the weekly has a higher low in here, so there's that. I think still the bullish view on this one is pretty simple, and to be fair, I mean, there is merit to it, of course. The bullish view for this one is, look, this thing is in a consolidation range. It has put in a higher low within that consolidation range as well. And because it has a higher low, we should have a bullish bias. And yeah, I mean, there's some validity to that. But I would say looking at the daily, I wouldn't be front running the bullishness of this until you're basically above yesterday's high and closing daily deltas above there. You can see the white 200 simple moving average has been governing price action for a while. So breaking out back above there kind of solidifies this as a higher low and implies another retest towards the top side of the range. So at that point, you have a real probability to actually break it, especially with very, very low volatility like this on potential hidden bullish divergence. But that does imply that this thing needs to start moving this month to the upside back towards 2.5, 260-ish region. And if you see something like that, okay, yeah, it's in a pretty strong position. To be fair to XRP, it continues to hold all major moving averages on the monthly. So that is good. And most high market cap shitcoins do not or have not been doing that. So it does kind of stand out on its own in that regard. If it does want to have a downside move, another move towards 190 makes a lot of sense to me, but I think this thing still has one more try to the upside here. We'll see if it can actually clear that 237 region. If it can, yeah, okay. I would actually have a bullish bias myself, it's hard to hate higher lows, of course. But yeah, fair enough. I guess to add on to that, I would kind of naturally get bearish on this thing if one of two things happened. One, coming back down below this last weekly low from 16th of June. That would be pretty obvious. Or two would be if this thing just does not, I think it's going to kind of wear out its welcome, to be honest. But yeah, fair enough. All right. Mr. Cedric says, GM, sir, what's up, man? Coin and Hood. How about just one? Let's look at Coinbase. Coinbase always more interesting anyways. Well, actually, Hood has been really, really good recently, I believe. But so is Coinbase, to be fair. I mean, this thing actually had a really nice run throughout June, going all the way from 240 to fucking 350 on a close. Anyways, I really like what I see on Coinbase. It did close and confirm a bullish engulfing dildo on the quarterly time frame, so a 3-month time frame here. Just just by a ball sack here, but it did indeed do it. Yeah, by about $1 on a 350 number. So when I see something like this, can it pull back? Yeah, absolutely can pull back. But I look at that as an opportunity if I want to get in. I think your natural areas of interest for a pullback, if it were to happen sometime this quarter, would be, let's just call it $300, give or take like $10 from that number. That would be a reconnect with your 5 EMA on the quarterly. But ultimately, I don't think that this thing has seen its highs just yet. I do think that it will make new highs probably this quarter, almost, I shouldn't say undoubtedly, but extreme high probability between now and the end of the year. And, that would imply at least like 430. I think that this thing just makes new highs from there. Very, very strong chart. Even the monthly RSI here is still in like a pretty healthy posture. Yes, this is where the last couple of rallies got arrested, of course, but at some point it's very likely to break, of course. So yeah, to me, this is a very constructive chart. If it spends if it spends like a month or two kind of consolidating here, that'd be completely fine. I think it sets it up really, really well for an explosive run into the end of this year, actually. Yeah, I have no reason to be bearish on this thing as long as you're especially above like 295, 290-ish region. Is coin up for a similar breakout to Hood? I don't know. I don't even know really what Hood's breakout looks like. I haven't looked at it. Yeah, it could be something like this. Yeah. I mean, this is kind of what I expect to happen, to be honest with you. You can see this one's a lot further along the curve there. This one's RSI already at like 83, whereas Coinbase's is 62, 63. It's still pretty controlled, still pretty constructive. So I think Coin has more longevity here for its rally, whereas Hood has probably jumped the gun a little bit, moving ahead, which is a good sign, obviously. But it's going to take its time consolidating, I imagine. Quad says Coin is looking great for continuation. Yeah, higher term timeframes really like it. I do as well. Now that I recognize it, the 6-month timeframe also closed as a bullish engulfing dildo. Yeah, just barely like the quarterly, but it did indeed happen. So if you get a reconnect down around $300, I think that that's a major opportunity, to be honest. And that's, do with that as you please. But I do want to be very, very clear with this one as well. I do hold a position in Coinbase. I've been buying, or I was buying Coinbase quite heavily in 2022 and 2023. So yeah. So I might be talking my book here a little bit, but yeah, I mean, I do think that it is bullish. What's up, Mr. Wally Fib? Why are people still looking at alts? Well, what an astute observation, Mr. Wally. Wally, my favorite youngin. He's a good youngin, and he knows. Yeah, man. Yeah, if you haven't really learned that alts are kind of, just worthless after the first cycle, then I don't know. I got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn, I guess, but of course, some do go off. It's just you can't hold those things. You just cannot hold them from, for more than a cycle. I mean, not even a cycle, really. But yeah, I think Wally has seen the light. He's probably trading traditional markets and Forex now. Forex always got something going on, man. Let's see. Jocelyn says, hey, Bitcoin has 4-year cycles, so should I sell during the peak and buy back during the bear market cycle? Taking a Bitcoin-backed loan. Well, let's assume that your assumption is, well, let's first go over your assumption. So, hi, Bitcoin has 4-year cycle. Does it? I'm not so convinced that the 4-year cycle still exists because we've seen so many changes during this cycle. If you can even call it a cycle, I think Bitcoin acts like an ETF now that you traditionally see in traditional markets. And I think that the 4-year cycle is naturally going to become less and less important over time anyways. But hey, I can be wrong on this. To be fair, to this date, the 4-year cycle has not been broken. So when could we officially say that it's broken? We could officially say that it's broken, I guess, if price is still making new highs in maybe January, because it's supposed to end, in October or November or December, something like this. Okay, look, if we run with your assumption, I just want to acknowledge that this is an assumption. I don't necessarily share the same assumption. So this is where this plan that you are devising could go massively fucking wrong if this does not work out in the fashion that you're looking for. But the assumption, again, is that 4-year cycle is still valid and you are going to sell during the peak because you're going to time it perfectly like we all are and buy back during the bear cycle before taking a Bitcoin loan. When do you buy back during the bear cycle? Look, this would be ideally how I'd want to play it as well, to be honest. So it's just... I personally feel like there's a lot of assumptions in this message that imply, at least you have an idea, but I would be careful because we need to have objective ways of kind of defining these things. And if it's just like, well, I buy back at the low, how do we know exactly that it's a low? My sugar plum. I fucking love Wally, man. He's great. Anyways, so yeah, we're just going to run with this assumption. And the idea would be that you buy back your corns during the heart of a bear market, and then you take out a Bitcoin backed loan. Okay, so the biggest issue that can happen here is that you buy your Bitcoin at the low, or what you think is the low, and you take out a loan, and then Bitcoin goes down another 50%. And then your asset-backed loan is now margin called, and if you don't have enough collateral to post, then you will get liquidated, meaning that they start selling your corns as for collateral to cover your loans. So that would be the risk in what you're suggesting here. If you have extra cash on the side or extra corns on the side that you could post and keep, just available for that purpose, then I think that this could work. Yeah, there is risk in it, but so does everything. Everything has a risk, right? But yeah. Ideally, in your ideal situation, yeah, this would be, the perfect way to do it. It's like, I sold the high, I buy the low. Once I buy the low, I take out an asset-backed loan. My collateral goes up in value, so my loan-to-value ratio actually goes down, meaning that I have even better, propositions here. I can even take out more money on that same loan if I really wanted. So yeah, in theory, what you're saying, beautiful. In practice, I would say just realize what your risk is here, because in that scenario, if you're wrong about the loan and you don't have enough collateral to post, if you get into trouble, then, and things go down a lot, then, well, now you can get liquidated on your loan. You will lose your fucking asset at that point. Job says, "LO, I'm sorry to get you so emotional about the loan history." I know. I apologize, man. It's really my thing. I apologize. I don't know why the fuck I went so heavy at you, man. That is just me, I guess. Craig put his house on a loan for Bitcoin at 50,000. I guess at the end of the day, man, Craig got a lot of shit. I understand. He can be a difficult person for many people. I honestly always liked him. Yes, sometimes we had our differences, of course, but I don't mind disagreeing with someone and just like letting it be a fucking disagreement. I think many people, don't like to do that. And he definitely doesn't like to do that as well. But, in hindsight, I mean, I think he worked that out pretty well. Crypto Al says, "Keep teaching us, we toads. Thanks, bro." Hey, man, all good. I'm glad that I can pass on at least some of the things that I've learned. Hopefully, mostly the things that I've learned that have not worked fucking well, man. Because, like I said, for me, I made what I considered like very, very good money trading for many, many years, but when I look back on it, I missed out on so many gains, and there are so many people, okay, maybe not so many people, but some people from my friend group, especially like YouTube creators from, 2019, 2020, who were doing similar things as me. They weren't trading, but they were earning an income and then just buying and holding, basically. I mean, they just massively outpaced me. And I'm like, oh, okay, fuck, I'm doing something wrong, and that's when I really had to humble myself and be like, okay, I need to learn whatever the fuck they know that I didn't know, because it's not just about making as much income as you want or as much as you can, obviously. I mean, as much as you want, like we all want everything, right? But as much as you can, it's about placing that money in the proper ways. And the only way to do that is to, well, learn a little bit about the financial structure and everything. So yeah, man. It's a good problem to have, I guess, but still, you just realize that you're always going to constantly be learning. And I don't know, for me, man, I really get turned on by learning about tax codes. It's just like, I really do though, because like you feel like you're learning the secrets, because it's all there. It's all there. It's like, it's all there for you. You can learn how to do wizardry. It's all there for you, Harry Potter, but you just have to read the fucking book. And it's a fucking complicated book. But yeah. Angela says, "Sir, I came in and searched the live stream for the beginning. Did not." Yeah, I didn't really do a classic Bitcoin analysis. I mean, we can go over it very, very quickly here. I don't have like a whole hell of a lot to add from the past few days, really. But there's a couple of pertinent things, I suppose, that are at least interesting in my opinion here. One would be the biweekly time frame on the HPDR chart. And as you can see, Bitcoin did pop back down to the 38.2 level that we marked off from, I believe it was Monday's video. It's either Sunday or Monday's video, probably Monday. So, if you are bullish, you kind of have to be looking at this as the likely low. Maybe things drop a little bit more than the low that we've seen thus far. And if it does, I guess, where would the area of interest be? I guess, no, I actually do think that it kind of have to be that level. Again, when I reference the 5-day 5 EMA setup here, we can see that this thing actually has found the low right at the 5 EMA again. That was 107,500 or so, which is also effectively this range high right here on the 38.2 level for the HPDR. So the way that I see that is that if Bitcoin is bullish and we expect Bitcoin to actually break out, we really shouldn't be expecting much lower than 107. And if Bitcoin does go below 107, it's probably an early indication that Bitcoin's going to be coming down much further than that towards 101 to 102 region. I've been looking at options a lot recently, and fuck, man, I really want to play options. I really want to play options. Like, these are some of the best environments for it. It's low volatility across the board. This is the one time that, if you can play options, you can actually buy some premium and probably be okay. I mean, shit, man. I imagine the 105 to 110 region is probably perfect right now for in terms of premium. But yeah, anyways, the picture that I'm kind of painting here and kind of what I'm suggesting is that, look, if you're bullish, you probably expect that the low is actually already in, meaning that if Bitcoin comes back down below the current low, and I believe it's today's low, actually, let me just double check. Yeah, it is today's low. If Bitcoin comes back down below today's low, especially if it closes the daily below there, which is almost exactly the same area as the most recent daily price action pivot, it's a little bit lower at 107,225. But if you do see a closure below there, I think it's safe to say this thing's going to be visiting very, very low $100,000-ish regions. Maybe it even breaks down. I mean, it's possible for sure, because you have to imagine what all of the higher term timeframes momentum oscillators are going to do at that point. And right now, you can still see there's some bifurcation here. The daily time frame is still positioned to the upside on CME as long as it's closing above 107,665. The 2-day time frame also positioned to the upside. So bulls do have a chance here, but what I'm trying to say is that if you're bullish, you actually, I really want to repeat what I said yesterday. I think you really have to expect Bitcoin to start to move to the upside no later than the end of this week, to be honest. I mean, shit, maybe you could extend that like a few days into the next week, but I think that that's making much too big of a concession for that. Really, this week would be the beginning of the move. I'm not saying it has to explode to $120,000 this week, but back up to 110 at least before the end of this week if it is going to be bullish. 3-day time frame coming down here from extreme levels. 111 is the pivot. 5-day time frame also going to be coming down on the next closure below 108, which actually it's above right now, so it'll actually turn back up. I apologize on that one. I did get that one wrong. Weekly time frame is technically up right now above 106 100. 10-day time frame, same thing, 97 750. Bi-weekly time frame also way up here, 104 600 is the pivot. So yeah, if you're bullish, like I said, I really think that you're looking for this thing to start to leg up and at least get back above 110 by the end of this week. If that doesn't happen, I think probabilities will start to shift back onto the downside, and I think at that point, at least very low 100s. I think it's actually a good probability. If that were to happen, you're going to see below 100. But first things first, at least for the time being right now, you can see that the bulls have what I consider kind of like the last chance before just the opposite takes over for a little bit. So yeah. No, Mr. Job. So what you have wrong here is that in 2008, people were taking out mortgages without actually having the income to back those mortgages. That was the issue. People weren't taking out mortgages as collateral for another loan. That's not literally what it was doing. It was in the residential sector where people, with very low incomes or even no income were coming in, getting a mortgage for a house that, they couldn't fucking service the interest rate. So yeah, I think that's a massive misunderstanding, to be honest, man. Anyways, Light Forex says NASDAQ 420. We actually literally just looked at that maybe like 5-10 minutes ago. Why? Oh, I spelled it like you spelled it. Yeah. NASDAQ 420. I can't promise that I'll have anything. Whoops, 320. Derp. I think it goes a little bit higher here, but I'd be looking for highs somewhere around here, man. Yeah, like Forgive me for being skeptical about a complete fucking meme coin that has the same fucking Burj Khalifa pattern that that all of these things fucking have, and then comes down and never goes back up above it ever again. Yeah. But I do think it has a little bit more upside here. If you get a loan on a fancy car and then you can't pay for it, the car gets repossessed. Yes, of course. Anyways, all good, Joe. All good, man. Actually, we've looked at Tesla a couple times now, Mr. Filson. Yeah, to me, I think you got to look at the higher term timeframes there, and just I still think it's just one mega consolidation. And we're making a little bit too much out of just range moves there. It's literally in the range, in the middle of the range. Wally Fib says, stop being lazy, search yourself. Independent thinking is your edge. Independent thinking is your edge, of course. But you do have to start with some information, you know. I am generally of the same opinion as you. It's like, look, you at the end of the day, you do have to do your own work, because you can't borrow conviction from other people, because you just won't understand things in the way that you need to understand things in order to capitalize on them. But it's, you have to get started somewhere, right? So that's like the purpose of having a mentor. That's the purpose of having some sort of foundational material. And I do think that part is important. But then to your point, I think it's even more important to throw all of that aside and go and do your own thing. And that's when you build your own sort of trust in yourself. I think that's a very, very important part of the whole process, man. Anyways, thoughts on Santana's July FKB? I don't know, because, it changes around so much and it can be very confusing, man. I understand the whole purpose is to confuse the lizards. And look, here's one thing that I can tell you. Saint is never wrong. Saint is always right. It's just you might understand what he's saying. Elsa's a fan. I'm a fan. I like Saint, man. I used to not understand him. I was just like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? And then I realized, okay, Saint's actually never wrong. He's just early. That's it, man. That's it. I love it, dude. I fucking love it. Look, we need more characters in the Discord. We have the best Discord. It's available for anyone, by the way. There's a link in the description below. But we got the best fucking characters, and we need more. We need a more. That's why I'm quite unhappy that Craig left. We need more characters like that, man. Elsa says we also need more soy boys as well. Yes, we need more soy boys for sure. Thoughts on Bitminer? I will check it out. Is this? No, I'm thinking of Antminer. Is it this thing? I guess. I don't fucking know. Wow, man. Great chart. Amazing. Just fucking beautiful. Just incredible. Discord or Datcord? Grow the cave again. I have been thinking about it. I do miss a lot of things. The problem is that when the cave was at like its height, I suppose, in terms of just, interest and people being there, right now, technically there are technically more people there, obviously, but in the past, when there was just more interest in the sector in general, the unfortunate reality is that for myself and a few of the other mods, it basically just turned into like an adult daycare center, because for some reason, people just cannot fucking get along with each other. And yeah, I mean, shit. Like, people would be emailing Elsa like, I think you need to ban this person from the Discord. It's like, I don't want to deal with these sort of things. This is not the fucking purpose of this place. Like, we're just here to have a silly goose time and talk about some Magic Net money. That's it. Like, we're not trying to be fucking, we're not trying to mediate differences between people's, philosophical beliefs. I don't fucking care. It's a goddamn distraction. Yeah, Elsa, you're not a kindergarten teacher as well. But for the most part, people are pretty chill, pretty cool. But yeah, it only takes a few people to make it a humongous headache for many others. So for myself, man, like, it was very disillusioning back in like 2021 and a little bit in 2022, where just I would get like 5 messages in my fucking inbox every day. It's like, hey, this person had this conversation with this person overnight, and we need your opinion on this. I'm like, dude, I am trying to like work. This is very unimportant. Yeah, man. The quant chat is great. Yeah, the quant chat is great. I mean, it's just people actually like trying to help each other there. I'm talking mostly towards the general Discord from many years ago, and then also we had a specific portion of the Discord for people in the TA program. Krown's hemorrhoid. I have a sunburn. Holy shit, man. Actually, I have had hemorrhoids before. Very, very bad. Very fucking bad. But these were a long time ago. Once I switched around my diet, my poops are flowing like soft serve. It's great, man. Really, really good. Crypto also says 2021, my 12-year-old could be a millionaire this cycle. Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, that's also what it was in 2017. Like, you just throw all of your money into the most recent ICO and voila, in a few weeks, you've got like 10, 20, 30x. Crazy, man. Sold my Bitcoin for silver. Thoughts? I don't know. Let's see. Last I looked at silver, it looked pretty good, but silver just does not move in the same, in the same sort of percentages that Bitcoin can. Yeah, I still think silver is good here. I still think it has more to go. I think that this thing's going to get back up to a 4 handle. All higher term timeframes are bullish continuation, man. That's good. It's very, very good. Yeah. I mean, but if Bitcoin breaks out here, then is Bitcoin going to put in like a better percentage move than silver? Well, yeah. But of course, silver's already breaking out. Bitcoin has not. So, so fair enough. I think it's a fine play personally. It's just like, look, if this thing gets back up to where I think it's going to get up to, let's say somewhere around here, that's a 20% move. 20% move is good. Very, very good. If Bitcoin breaks out, which it has not just yet, but if it were to break out, where do I think it goes? Like 130, 140. It's going to be a bigger percentage move. Not by a whole hell of a lot, to be honest. 25% to 135. But yeah, that is in there. So I think it's fine, honestly, man. 5%, you're potentially giving up like 5% for added confidence that it is actually breaking out. I think it's fine, man. I'll ban everyone who sends me an email. That's why we hired you. Yes. Thoughts on the UFC fight at the White House next year? Is that real? That's the Pimpin' Grandpa, by the way. Is that real? Because if so, I think it's awesome, and also, well, it's mostly awesome. It's mostly awesome. All right, we'll do one for Wally. Wally's looking at URA. I think this is uranium. Yeah, uranium ETF. I mean, it's right here at like the maximum place that you'd be expecting a rejection if it is going to reject. But fuck, man, this move looks very, very powerful to me on the monthly. I think that it is very likely going to carry on and break out. I think you see this thing back up closer to $50. Yeah, but it literally is right at that exact area. You'd be kind of like, okay, if you want to reject, this is the place to do it. Quarterly, just put in a bullish engulfing dildo. If it does come back down, I'd be looking for a bounce around just under $35. See what a 6-month looks like as well. 6 months, same thing, bullish engulfing dildo. If it comes back, yeah, I think that this thing probably is more likely to follow through to the upside than not. If it does come back down, the level that I just said, between there and about 33.5, something like that, I think you should bounce there. If you start to see it much lower than that, then I think that this thing is probably just going to continue doing what it does best, which is go down, I guess. But this move looks like it has real potential to follow through. So yeah, strong move. And where does it go from there? Figure at least like 48 on the lower end, on the upper end, maybe like 60, 65 region. Crown's hemorrhoid. I'm back, Eric. Sorry. I stuck up a bunch of suppositories in my bunghole for you to go away, and now you're back? At this time? Knights Templar, yes. I won't email. I'll send you a carrier pigeon to poop on you. What? How dare you? Yeah, if you're long-term on this one, I don't know what you are, because usually I think that you are long. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, if you're short-term, I don't know, man, maybe it does. Well, even the daily looks pretty good here. But yeah, if it did pull back to like, I don't know, 33.5 to 35, I think that's fine. Should be a bounce there. I wouldn't be surprised to see it just carry on from here. This thing looks good. Steven Seagal. Have you checked virtuals today? No, I haven't. Let's check it out. This is an AI type of thing. It's an AI thing, I think. Yeah, going down. Really don't like this one, to be honest with you, man. I think that this thing wants to come back down towards 1.25. I'd only change my mind on this thing too if it popped back up above last week's high and closed a weekly above there. Even then, I think that might be a little bit too premature. It's like above 190. Maybe I'd say that this thing's okay. I think it's a lot more likely to come to the downside though. Something like this, maybe gives another bounce there and then try something like that perhaps. But yeah, if I'm just going off the daily, I think short term is down. Daily momentum turning freshly down on what appears to be another lower high. I mean, this looks like a bear flag to me if you want to put a formation on it. Yeah, again, on low volatility as well. So if this thing's moving in any direction, I'd have to favor the downside. Yeah, I think it comes down honestly to $1. So fair enough. Again, we have another Burj Khalifa chart pattern of destiny, goes all the way to the moon. This was in January of 2025. It's almost like you're guaranteed it'll never go above there ever again. Comes down, what? How much from there? Oh, only 91%. Great value. Pops back up, lower high, coming back down. Yeah. Curling like a cat with a hairball. I don't like it when you do squats. I'll stop doing squats, I promise. Okay, my legs are already very small. We don't need them. LARP lines, I miss the LARP. Yeah, I love the LARP lines, man. They're fun. They are fun. Can I give you a kiss on the lips? The lips of my hemorrhoids? If it helps them go away, I'll do anything. Anything you want, bro. Anything you want. Anything to bring us closer. Thoughts on your hair transplant? Are you happy you spent the money? I mean, in case you didn't know, when you get a hair transplant, you don't see the full results for about a year. And for the first 3 months, it actually just gets worse. So if you can actually see it right now, you can't really tell that much right now, but it is... Oh, it's about the same as it was before, but maybe slightly worse. So I'm kind of in like the ugly duckling phase. But yeah, man, I've done it once before as well, so I kind of know the process at this point. Look, if you can do it and you don't mind like wasting about a week of your life mostly sitting on a couch, then yeah, seems like a no-brainer. Because I always hear that there's like there's a cure coming, that'll reverse male pattern baldness. But I've been hearing that for the past like 20 years, I feel like, and. Like, look, man, if you want to fix it right now, just do that. It's really the only way to fix it, honestly. If you catch your shit like super early, maybe you can manage it with finasteride and minoxidil. Those obviously come with some risks as well. But yeah, let's have a look at the biggest shitcoin, Sui. Yeah, I'm surprised no one's asked about it today. Sui's been one of the best performers during the cycle, and also one of the most popular too. Usually those things go hand in hand. Kind of had the same thing to say about this one as I did the last one, except this one's not as bad. But you got a downtrend here on the daily. You got a rejection right at the 55, and momentum turning down, and volatility is low. I mean, if I have to favor a direction, it's going to be to the downside. It's going to be to the downside. 264 is kind of a critical region, in my opinion, to hold that if you want to have something resembling hopium below there on a daily closing basis. I think that this thing unravels this whole rally that began in April and comes down. What are you oh my godding about?
Some crazy person. Nothing.
What?
To your computer. I'll take you later.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah. Fucking people, man. Fucking people. Maybe get a bold head face. A bold head face? What's that? Hair will not stick how it looks. I honestly don't know what you mean, man. No, this will F up your DHT. Yeah, if you do take finasteride, it will reduce your DHT, which can be very problematic if you're already low on DHT, because DHT is related to the hormone that basically makes effort, like when you expend effort, feel good. And obviously, you kind of want that, because that's what makes it so easy to actually go and be productive. It's like you feel like you're actually doing something that matters, right? And you feel that, holy shit, is Vladimir Putin? What? That's crazy. Man, I have so many questions for you. Krown, what? You know my name? Holy shit. You have to check out SPX 6900, outpaced every chart last 3 months, massive cup and handle, huge community. Please look at chart. You speak really good English, Putin. I'm surprised. SPX 6900. Well, the name is a dead giveaway here that it is definitely the best. It did probably outpace most things. It almost even got a new all-time high there as well. But are you going to hate me if I say that this thing's probably going to come down as well. Look, you have a very obvious area to be managing this thing off of, right? Yesterday's high, basically, as long as you're below yesterday's high, I actually do think it's going to turn down and come back down at least to like 112, 113. Daily momentum turns down below 128. It's trading 125 right now. Volatility is very, very low. Again, if I have to choose a direction in the short term, it's going to be to the downside. My invalidation for that would be yesterday's high. Above yesterday's high, this thing's going to fucking basically go back to prior all-time highs and probably make new all-time highs. But yeah, I'm a lot more inclined to say it does come down from here. Just again, whenever I see a shitcoin, this one's obviously very highly esteemed, and you know the next major technological breakthrough, and they have a great community as well. Thank you for that, Mr. Putin. Well, it's bullish, obviously. Look, I like Murad. I think he's a good guy. I just disagree with him on this. I disagree with the whole philosophy of these meme coin communities and shit like that. I think it's no different than any shitcoin, any altcoin, basically. I think that they're all destined for the same thing. It's like, I think we have the same conclusion, but he ran with it as a positive and I ran with it as a massive negative. It's like, he's looking at it as like, okay, this is just a really strong community, and we all just know that this is, value basically has no value, so we're all going to get into it and just hold it because we're going to hold it. But that's exactly what the other shitcoins have done. It's just they're less honest about it. I think you're going to have the same result as the other ones too. Yeah, but yeah. All right. Rosemary oil on head. Yeah, I've heard that that's actually good. I've also heard I think it was like egg yolks on your head is good. I don't know. I haven't tried it. Don't make him mad, Krown. He has nuclear missiles. So do I, bro. I'll press the fucking button. No problem. I will fucking drop this nuke, and it's gonna be over for you, Russia. Your button doesn't even fucking work. And then. No, yes, and I am referring to my bungalow, as Elsa just said. I'm going to take those nukes, go to you, Putin, and then I'm going to drop one of these on you. Oh, fucking baby. It's going to be oh so good. I'm taking all kinds of Chipotle before this dump, and you know what? You are about to get fucking no-bidade in your face, and then it's over. And that is how the world is going to end. I thought he was naming your hemorrhoid Putin. Have you looked at Bonk? Yeah, we looked at it earlier. Can you look at pound versus dollar? Sure. I like looking at Forex. It's a lot more difficult in my opinion, but let's see. This one actually, this can't be right. Yeah, only data since fucking January. Like that's we got more than that, I'm sure. Yeah. Okay, this looks about right. Have to really respect the trend here, and while I do think this thing could trade a little bit more to the upside, I do think you're going to be coming into your next sort of likely area of at least pullback. And if it is going to maintain the downtrend, and this is probably about the area that it comes from, about 140-ish region. So it's like, yeah, I think it probably goes up a little bit more from here. But if you want to be bearish, this is the best area for it. I'm not saying that it's destined to continue with this trend for forever, but it is a trend that's been available since 07, 08. So, do you want to fade that? I don't know. I mean, maybe the global financial situation really is changing around, and we should reposition and expect all these things to be different. It's very possible. I mean, and I mean that in a serious note. Like that does seem to me to be Trump's plan with the economy, is to, well, I guess make us no longer the world reserve currency, or I don't know if it's a good plan, but that does seem like it might be the plan. Yeah. So if you do think things are changing, I mean, yeah, it should break through here and I guess go all the way up to like 160, 170 region. But if you think that things aren't actually changing, then yeah, this area right here is about perfect. When Krown and Elsa TikTok dances? Elsa has plenty of TikTok dances, I think. She has all kinds of dances as well. She has what she refers to as the homo dance. Again, I don't say this as like, it's not like a mean thing. She doesn't like hate gay people or anything like this. No, she loves gay people. It's a word of respect. My gym loves gay people too, man. They still got the fucking gay flags out everywhere.
What about the Motley Crue dance?
Oh, she also loves Motley Crue. Elsa, Elsa loves these videos on YouTube that I play sometimes, where it'll be like a classic, 80s rock, like Motley Crue, and then for the visuals, it'll be like the U.S. military. I don't know why I really like watching these videos. They're very fun. You feel so badass as an American. And Elsa has some phenomenal dances for these. Very high energy for a European, I'll say. Very, very high energy. You think the Fed cuts rates in July or September? This is a question that I have absolutely no way of knowing the answer to, sir. And probably no one does. And it would be much worse speculation that I could ever possibly do, given a chart. It's speculate on what some fucking lizards in suits are planning on doing with the economy. I have no idea, man. I got no edge in that game. I got no insider information, no nothing. So yeah, I also don't really think that rate cuts are the important thing right now. My sort of take on that is similar to Arthur Haynes. If the powers that be, if the Treasury wants to, in a way, simulate rate cuts or just get more liquidity into the markets, they have other ways of doing that. They don't need to wait for rate cuts. They don't need to do it. So yeah. How do you allocate money into your long-term accounts? At this point, I want to be putting almost everything to my long-term accounts. What percentage do you put into traditional market versus Bitcoin? That's a really good question. So I'll answer your question with my numbers, but I'll say this is not what I would start out with. This is only a result of me being in Bitcoin for a long time now. And because Bitcoin it goes up so much more in terms of percentages than traditional markets, right? But if I were to I need to do some, okay, so it's actually, yeah, right now it's about 70% Bitcoin, 30% traditional markets. Now, when I first began, I wanted it to be more like 60-40 in favor of stocks, actually. But because Bitcoin has grown so much, I mean, that just blows out of the fucking water. But I'll tell you what my actual strategy is right now. I want to record a much more in-depth video about this at some point. But the way that I see it is that the traditional portfolio is dead. And the traditional portfolio was 60% stocks, 40% bonds. If you're not familiar with bonds they're basically loans that you make to the government. And you give them your cash, they give you your cash back later with interest. And it's usually a very, very small amount. What I personally want now is, instead of having my cash in money markets or in bonds, is I put that money in Bitcoin or MicroStrategy related offerings that have yield. So my favorite one, or my favorite ones for these, are the STRF, STRK, STRD. STRF, I think, is the best one. You get a 10% dividend per quarter, or sorry, 10% dividend per year paid out quarterly. And it's just a flat 10% dividend. That's it. You get marked off of how many shares that you have, and you get paid 10%. That's it. Very, very simple. You get preferential treatment in the event of liquidity or liquidation crisis for MicroStrategy, and it's over collateralized to the point where it would survive even if Bitcoin came all the way down to like 15 or 20,000 bucks, and they could still resume payments for the next, 20 to 25 years, something like this, something insane like that. So that's my favorite one. Then you got STRK. That's kind of, it's similar. You get an 8% dividend. However, you also get potential upside in the form of what is effectively a call option on MicroStrategy stock. So if that offering actually goes above $1,000, then it actually makes a lot of sense to just convert to MicroStrategy. So if you're younger, that one makes a little bit more sense. You still get the income flow from the dividend, but you also get the equity and potentially that call option on the MicroStrategy stock. And then STRD, and STRK, by the way, does have high preferential treatment as well. It's senior to STRD. STRD is junior to everything. Still gets paid out before common stock on MicroStrategy, but this one is, again, a 10% dividend. But because the price is so low, and because it does not have liquidation preference, and because MicroStrategy can actually miss a payment technically, and there's no drawback for them. It's priced less, so you can buy more for less. But yeah, anyways, probably a bad way of explaining it, but I want to have some of that. Anyways, my point is I want to have about 20% of my portfolio of that sort of stuff, then 80% of my stock portfolio in actual stocks, split by about 60% ETFs, which I know are boring, but I just want, easy bets there. And then 40% of that is going to be in sort of singular plays. I like to focus on defense sector, and I like to focus on defense and technology and defense technology and also health technology. And then for crypto, I mean, it's just Bitcoin. So yeah. Quad says, Krown, would you look to rebalance that percentage ratio or try and maintain a Bitcoin heavy portfolio? What am I going to rebalance it to? Do I take it out from Bitcoin and get more cash? Well, absolutely not. I mean, as we went over early in the stream, learning a little bit of financial literacy and gaining some financial knowledge. Hell no. Why would I put in cash? Like, it's just going to fucking welt away there. If I was going to do anything, I'd take it out, and I guess I'd put it in one of those MicroStrategy related dividend stocks. But no, I'm not going to do that. I just want to let it run and do its thing. If you want to make a lot of money and you have excess cash, then you just fucking hold. You find the thing that works and you hold it for as long as you can. That's really all that it is. The skill is patience and waiting, and it's very difficult to do, and almost no one does it. But if you can do it, then you can. All you need to do is just find the winner, get on the winner, because the winners keep on winning. And it's not like rotations. It's almost winner take all in every sector. It's just it happens at varying degrees. And so when you diversify, you basically just give away your gains. So yeah, would you do a portfolio video? I will do it at some point for sure. Yeah, I will do it at some point for sure. But I think people will be very, it's like, I'll do a portfolio video, and I think most people are expecting like, oh shit, what are his top 10 altcoin picks? It's going to be good. Like, none. There's literally zero. Just stocks, some dividend stocks, and then some corns. That's basically it. I think some bullish dev on the daily at Syrup BTC. Be gentle to me. I have Stockholm syndrome. We looked at that one earlier. I mean, it's still one of the better ones. Rebalancing Bitcoin in a portfolio is a skill issue. I mean, I wouldn't. What I'm saying is, I don't think that you look. I don't know what you should do, but I know for myself, no, I don't want to do that. Why would I sell the more valuable asset? I mean, find me a fucking asset that has had a higher CAGR than Bitcoin over the past 10 years. Like, it doesn't exist. We got a banned design and function. Who even is that? Apparently he's been banned. Dane Davies says, coming from San Francisco, Krown, did you ever do an Alcatraz visit? Absolutely. Yeah. I've visited a couple times. The tour there is really good. It's really well done. If you visit San Francisco, it's pretty cool. Darian says, could you please check out Useless Coin again? Sure. Maybe we ended on this one, actually. I didn't realize it's getting quite late, but I've been having a lot of fun chatting, having a lot of fun talking shit. I kind of enjoy, like I said, these slower times because, you get to chat it out a little bit more. Okay, so we have a very new shitcoin here. So it's actually generally kind of a good thing, but it's already gone lunar. How crazy is this thing gone? Only 6,000% in a month. Amazing. It makes it really difficult. Like, I can say that a shitcoin like this is probably going to act better than most, just because it is newer, and it's kind of coming into the market at the right time in the cycle. Do I have any calls right here? I really don't. It's a little bit too new for me. This thing could just as easily top here and play out like a 50% correction down to 15 cents as it could explode up to 40 cents. And I don't have any real analysis on this. If I had to call a direction, I would guess I'd be biased towards the downside, I guess. It's down already 30. In the last couple of days, down 30%, but it looks like nothing. I mean, yeah, this thing could easily move down like 50% and still be a higher low and give another try to the upside, but it's a fucking 50% move. I really don't know, man. It's too new, too crazy. Bitrod says, do you plan to add Ethereum to your portfolio? Why would I do that? Let me show you something. So I can take the winning asset and buy this. Amazing. Holy shit, I have the opportunity to lose money with a riskier asset? Oh, I love it. I fucking love it, man. Let me buy as much of that thing as I can. I hate money. I hate it so much. I just want it to go away. Derek Baxter says, love your content, Krown, but no, we're not all gay. Ban him immediately. Get him the fuck out of here right now. Kidding, man. Kidding. Yeah, man. No, no. Why would I get into an asset like this? Look, I'm not saying that Ethereum can't be successful. Maybe it is over a long enough period of time, but this thing's had almost 10 years to prove itself. It hasn't. At least in the way that I care about, because I already look at crypto stuff as like highly risky anyways. You know, like I basically just came around to believing in Bitcoin over the past 5 years. Something like this is just way too far out for me. And the fact is that you don't even have potential for more gains with Ethereum. It's just been losing versus Bitcoin since 2017. Only losing. It's been around in multiple bull cycles. It can't even get anywhere near the prior all-time high, like nowhere fucking near. So absolutely not. As if I'm thinking from the perspective of an asset manager, portfolio manager, this would be a career-ending move. Like, why the fuck are you going to buy the worst performing asset? Is it just because you think, oh, well, it's performed bad for a while, so maybe it just does something like this? Let me actually does something like this. Like, how likely is that? It's never done that. So if you're positioning for something like that, it's a hope and pray sort of position. It's not backed with anything. I'd be much more interested if I ever was going to buy Ethereum if the ratio came back above this high right here. At that point, okay, maybe we've got some, on our hands. But until then, you're taking the well-performing asset and buying a less performing asset that only has history of losing versus that prior asset. You might as well just hold the dollar. Everyone's building on chain. That's right, man. And it's not working. And the results say it's not working yet, at least. I appreciate that, Mr. Sogol. I appreciate that, man. Common sense, not so common. Yeah. Well, it's just, like I said, a lot of this stuff I didn't even know a few years ago. So that's why I want to start to bring it to this community, because I think, at the beginning, I was like, okay, all you need to do is just learn how to trade. You produce an income like that, you're going to be good. And that was working for me for a while. And I mean, it still worked, obviously. But once I got my first real experience of inflation, I realized that there are things that I do not know that I need to learn. And so that's why I want to evolve the content in that regard, because I think a lot of people in this community, just by the fact of being around, since 2018, you probably, and you've been assuming, I assume you've been holding some Bitcoin. You've probably done at least somewhat okay, if not very, very well. I know some people in this community have done crazy things. I'll just say it like that. I obviously don't want to talk about their specifics, but they've done crazy things. But now I'm realizing, okay, well, once you actually have created some income, then you need to protect that, and then you can grow and you can learn a whole new game. So yeah. So for me, it's very, very fun, man. Like, I'm pretty bored with trading anyways. It's like how many more new things can you do after so long? It's like you can't. So long-term investing kind of scratches that itch for me, because, as a human, you always need to feel like you're working towards something. You can't just, depression, at least for me, comes about when I'm sitting in my fucking chair with no work in front of me. Like, that shit sucks. Nilutu says, Krown, serious question here. If you have to sleep in a bed between a hot blonde and a gay man, which one do you turn your back to? Well, you turn your back to the man, because otherwise how else is he going to get into your bunghole? It's a trick question. Duh. Mike says, wow, great question. VW says, institutional building on Ethereum, that is the game changer now. I've been hearing that for many years, sir, and it's just down only. So again, like I said, Ethereum versus Bitcoin will very likely bounce humongously somewhere around this region here. And I'm sure everyone who's hearing me talk right now or in a soundbite will be like, oh my God, Krown's a fucking moron, idiot. The institutions were building, man. They were building this whole time. And then same fucking thing happens as it has been happening before. Is it better for the market to collapse and most go to zero for most altcoins that have no use case game? Once it happens, do we retail ever return? Is it better for the market? Nothing's ever going to go to zero anyways. You still have some retarded community members at 0.000001. You just add another zero and they'll always be around. But look, we're all retail. So I don't know, man. I don't think it matters. Human emotions go in cycles, and that will not go away anytime soon. I mean, shit, man. It hasn't even like we're talking about fucking programming that we've had since we became modern Homo sapiens hundreds of thousands of years ago. It's like, do you think that's going to stop tomorrow? Hell no. Like, absolutely not. I'm late. Prayers for the flood victims in Texas. Yeah, prayers for the flood victims in the Texas. Good answer, Krown. I am homesick and need a ride home. Yes. All right, this is gonna be the last one. I completely didn't realize how long we're going here. Crypto Rex says IKUN. IKUN. This is a new one. Oh no, I didn't. Okay, I'll do both those. All right. Okay, this one's okay. Actually, pretty good. Been around for 3 months. Again, man, like with these charts, they are very, very new. So you can sometimes get some magical stuff here where, they'll retrace 50% and then go up another fucking 200%. If I had to call it, I do think that this one's found a high for a while. And I think it's going to spend some time going sideways and down. If you're looking at this from a pattern perspective, which take it with a grain of salt, but head and shoulders right here, if that plays out, you'll get a closure below yesterday's low. And if you see that, then this thing's probably coming back to like 1 cent, 1.25 cents maybe. But other than that, man, I don't have strong opinions on this. It's really way too new. I'm on a very low term time frame here. I guess I'd get bullish if it could trade back above Monday's high and close above there. But again, I'm really going off of so little here. I just would not trust a real analysis on this. I'll look at the other one. I have a sneaky suspicion we'll have the same issue with this though. Hosiko cat. All right, I got high expectations here. Pretty good move, to be fair. Like very, very good move. It's been around for a couple months now, since May. Made new highs. I think that you spend some time pulling back here, but you got to give it the benefit of the doubt because it has actually made a new all-time high. Does it pull all the way back to like, I don't know, 4.5 to 5 cents maybe? But this thing's got higher lows as long as you're above basically this region right here. So yeah, short term probably does come down a little bit. I'd be looking for a bounce from this region here. Hopefully that bounce brings you back above 7 cents if you can. Then this thing's going to go on a mega run. All right, last one for Michael. I promise this is the absolute last one. Trader Joe. Wow. Do we have a down only chart? Holy shit, we have a down only chart. You tell him what he's won? No. You tell him what he's won? Fuck. I don't have it on my... God damn it, I don't have my fucking soundboard. Yeah, man, it's a great chart, It's definitely going to be going up soon. Amazing. I like it, bro. This is a good investment, you see? The whales are manipulating this one by making it go down. Okay, then they steal your coins over here, FUD you out. They pay influencers like Krown, that fucking moron, to FUD you out of the coins. And then the Joes...
Wrong chart. He says it's a wrong chart.
That's the right fucking chart. Even worse. Is this what you want? Is this what you want? Is this what you want? Like, sir, it just gets worse. Okay, maybe he means Joe on Ethereum. Okay, so Joe versus wrapped Ethereum. So that just means you're going to be looking at one shitcoin versus Ethereum. Okay, you're not looking at shitcoin versus dollar now. You're looking at shitcoin versus Ethereum, and actually much better. That's because Ethereum also a shitcoin. So when you put it as a denominator, it's going to look a lot better. But yeah, I'd still say short term down probably comes back down to like whatever the hell this number is here and tries for a bounce. But yeah, long term, this would be a bullish chart versus Ethereum for sure. So if you're just trying to lose money less fast, what?
I think it's the wrong one.
It's not the fucking wrong one. Look, there's 2 goddamn options here, for fuck's sake.
He's bumming Alexa.
Joe coin. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ, man. This better be good. This better be really good. Okay, and I don't want to hear no more shit about wrong chart bullshit. Okay. Joe coin. This better be good. Let's see. Okay. Also a chart with barely any price action history. If anything, it's going down right now, probably back down to, I don't know, 4 cents. More history on this one, and still think it's going down in the short term, probably somewhere down to 4 cents. Probably tries for a bounce there, but yeah, I guess it is a different chart. My apologies, sir. I have to eat my own words on that one. God damn it. Yeah. I don't know what the hell this thing is or what it does, but at least it retests those prior highs. I do still think next move is to the downside, but should bounce around here. Does that bounce bring you back up to all-time highs? I don't fucking know, man. I don't fucking know. I would be inclined to say it probably does come down even lower than that, to be honest, like 3.5 cents, but yeah. Still very new. I think at least 4 cents on the downside. Should try for a bounce. If it fails there, then bad. All right. We will end things on that note. As always, I want to wish everyone the best of the best. I want to apologize for my autistic, ragey outbreaks. It is my own shortcomings as a human male, and I will work on it and try to be better.
You are toxic masculine.
The toxicity must stop. Anyways, I'll sign off on that note, guys. We'll do another live stream maybe Friday. And other than that, just want to say thanks for joining in as always. It's been a nice, fun time despite these more, very, very quiet times in this market. Crazy to say that when Bitcoin's at literally $110,000.